All right, hello, welcome back. This is the first Lovelace video that I have made in a significantly long period of time. For a variety of reasons, the primary core one is laziness, and I'm breaking out of that. I'm getting out of my shell, and I'm gonna just go for it here, and I'm gonna start making more videos. And first one here right off the bat, as you know, Lovelace, that little tagline, if you look at the banner or wherever else, it's when gaming meets life, or where gaming meets life. I don't know my own tagline. Where gaming meets life. Okay? And there's been a topic that came up in gaming that personifies this like no other right now. And that is kind of a hero of mine. And I say that kind of joking, kind of not joking. And that's DrDisrespect, the streamer on Twitch. He just won a bunch of awards, going to conventions, Streamer of the Year. DrDisrespect has been all over the news, and it's been for, unfortunately, very negative reasons recently. If you don't know, if you haven't seen the video, and I want to strongly encourage you to check out the video, maybe I'll leave a link below. DrDisrespect, in his most recent stream, about 3 or 4 days ago now, comes online, totally no makeup, no costume, it's just him, and he confesses to being unfaithful to his wife. And he goes in really no more details, but he's in tears. He's clearly just torn to pieces about what happened. He's a mess. You can tell, for whatever reason, this wound is really fresh. When I watched it, my first thought was, he just opened up to his wife about that in the last 6 hours. It was fresh. And he says he comes on, and the idea is he wants to apologize and be transparent to his fans, to his sponsors, and explain why he wasn't going to be around much, that he was going to be focusing on that. And it's been a huge hot topic. It was the #1 thing on Reddit for a little while. And you know, I think you're getting a lot of opinions emerging from it. And you're seeing kind of what gamers are how they view relationships, how they view marriage, how they view cheating. And I'll tell you, you know, before we get into all that, I should explain my bias with DrDisrespect. I'm a huge fan. I'm a subscriber. I'm a huge fan. I love his style of comedy. I love the way his gameplay ties into his character. He plays games aggressively to tie in with the persona that he's created. But I'll say it goes even further than that. You know, when I became a fan, I did some digging on YouTube for him, and saw old interviews and whatnot, and finding out, you know, I had a lot in common with this guy. He's a few years older than me, so he's sort of just old enough. He's about 7 years older than me, just old enough for him to be kind of older, like a role model, but still close enough that we're experiencing the same things in life right now. We're both married. We both have kids with families. He's an only child. I'm an only child. He grew up all by himself as an only child, obsessed with video games and obsessed with basketball. If you don't know, he actually had a college scholarship. He played college basketball at a smaller school. But still, I mean, incredibly gifted athlete. Now I'm not going to sit here and say I'm an incredibly gifted athlete, but I was a varsity level player at a large high school, basketball, obsessed over the game of basketball. And when I wasn't playing hoops, it was video games. I was obsessed with video games. Going back to, gosh, I was going to say the first Halo, but way before that. I mean, I was playing Wolfenstein and stuff, right? The original Doom, 3.5-inch floppy, Dad bringing that home. And we had these real experiences that were the same. But then his style and his brand of comedy very much speaks to, you know, the generation that he and I are a part of. Sort of the millennial, he and I are kind of older end of millennials, but that sort of millennial generation, and that it just spoke to me. It spoke to me on multiple levels. And there was sort of, I want to say there was a twinkle in his eye. He always wore the glasses. But there was always sort of this way that you knew that he was self-aware, that it was a persona. That it was a joke, that he was really laughing at people who acted that way. And as he grew in that character, you know, one of the things you saw when he won Streamer of the Year, and even during his stream, was the volume of people who were going through difficult things in their life who would turn to his stream for positivity. He was a source of humor. He was a source of fun. He's a gifted gamer. It's fun to just watch him play. I mean, on multiple levels, people were turning to him and turning to his channel just as an escape. And you know, in the messages he would get in his chat, you could see that it was people who were struggling with things a lot of the time. And he acknowledged that in his stream. He acknowledged that when he won Streamer of the Year. So he brought in something very real. With all that combined, in the matter of 18 months, he built up this huge following. And you know, oh how the mighty will fall, right? So he goes on, he confesses to being unfaithful. We don't know any details, but he confesses to being unfaithful to his wife. And he's in tears, and he's clearly, genuinely from his heart, in my opinion, broken up about it. Now I'm going to get into where I stand on forgiving or defending or any of that. But I will say there's a segment of the population, perhaps just because he's big, that see this as an opportunity to just trash him. And there's a huge segment of the population that just rail on cheaters. Once a cheater, always a cheater. You know, cheaters can't forgive them. He's scum. He's a piece of trash. You know, and I wanted to, well, I don't want to defend the betrayal. I think that context is important. As far as we're aware, there's no, let's say, assault going on. There's no harassment going on. He was part of a consensual choice with another adult to presumably engage in an affair. Now, like I said, he doesn't really even say affair. He says unfaithful, but let's assume that means affair, right? So whether it was one time or multiple times, whatever it was, let's assume it was consensual. And if it was, you have to evaluate that, I think, in the broader context of marriage. I'm married. I've been married a little while, a couple years, almost 2 years, to the most amazing wife in the world. And the reason I say that is because I've made mistakes in my marriage. Now, we're talking about affairs right now. Never came to that with me or her, specifically me, and the mistakes I made. But I made huge mistakes, very real, valid mistakes. And, you know, I think that before I experienced that, I might have been on the side that said he's a cheater, he's a piece of trash, he betrayed his wife, he betrayed his kids. Candidly, the mistakes I made, there may be people who would view me that way. I don't know. You know, I'm not going to get into details of that. That's, you know, my private life. But there may be people who would view me that way. But I do believe that after a lot of work, specifically done by me, a lot of work, but also done by my wife, she and I, and then our family, spit out the other end of my mistakes significantly closer. We spit out the other end of my mistakes significantly more galvanized as a couple, as a family. It really, in a lot of ways, made us in a unique way. Now, if I could go back, would I not make those mistakes and try to find a better way to do that personal growth that didn't require betraying people, that didn't require hurting people? Yeah, I would. But my point in this context with the doc is that, you know, he's in a very real situation, and to just view it as black and white, to just view it as he is now scum, would be, in my opinion, unjust. And we don't even know what his marriage is like. We don't know. We don't know if he's been a jerk outside of that. We don't know if she's been a jerk outside of that. We don't know. But assuming they're a relatively normal, relatively happy couple, and he made that mistake, what I saw on camera and what I've seen from him this whole time is he's a genuine person. He's a real person. And with regard to this set of mistakes, he is keenly aware that this is solely his fault. He is keenly aware of the way he has betrayed his wife and his child. Now, he's the one who has to make the steps to fix that. And it may cost him. It may cost him everything. It may cost him his wife. It may cost him. He may be a weekend dad or a twice a month dad. He may end up that now. And he may end up without a career that was blossoming and exploding and that he was clearly talented and gifted and passionate about. He may lose those things. And even if he does, my point is that we don't need to continue to just trash the guy, especially if what we saw in his video continues, which is genuine remorse and what seemed to be a genuine desire to grow. He's going to have to do a ton of growth. And you can speculate as to how he ended up in this situation. It may have been a case of, explosion of fame. He's traveling a bunch, going to these gaming conventions and these gaming award shows and whatever else. And he's just, over the course of 12, 18 months, suddenly he's the big thing in gaming. And it may have gone to his head. Who knows? The character, the persona, the super macho thing. It may have gone to his head. Who knows? But, I will say that he's capable of growing from that. He's capable of learning from that. And in his personal life, he's capable of overcoming it. I'm rooting for him to overcome it. From one only child to another, from one basketball player to another, from one gamer to another. I'm not 6'8" with a 37-inch vertical. I'm 6'6", and I'm letting myself go. My vertical, I can dunk, but it gets over. Those days are over for me. But the point is, from a person who really, in a lot of ways, looked up to him, and still do, in a way, definitely still do. I'm rooting for him, and he screwed it up. And before people trash on me for saying, hey, you're defending the doc, you're defending a cheater, and maybe you're clearly scum too, you made the mistakes that you made, what I'll say to them is, right now, in his context, the words I would use to describe the doc are immature, selfish, short-sighted, just naive, hedonistic. He saw something in front of his face and decided it was shiny and he wanted it. Instead of looking at the big picture, instead of looking at, his beautiful wife and his beautiful child. And I just hope that he can recover for it. I hope that family can spit out the other end stronger than before. It can happen. All you people who are saying, once a cheater, always a cheater, he's ruined all these things, I don't think that has to be true. It may be true. In some situations, it is true. I'm just saying that I and maybe it's because I see a lot of myself in the doc, the real person behind the doc. I don't think it has to be true for him. The last thing I'll say is, let's say he recovers from it personally. Hopefully that means staying together, whatever else. Maybe he's able to split up and still be able to grow as a human being. Whatever it is. Let's say he recovers and we're talking in a month or 6 months or a year, whatever it is. How does he recover professionally? And that's, where gaming meets life. That's the question we're all wondering, I think. All the fans, like myself, is while we're rooting for him personally, selfishly, part of the reason we're rooting for him is because we want to see that stream back. But it does beg the question, how do you cheat on your wife, confess to it aside, how do you cheat on your wife, and then go on the internet for, there's 20 to 50,000 people, it seems like, watching his stream, and anytime he's got over 1 million followers, how do you go on there and play the super macho, 2-time, Lamborghini Diablo? How do you do that, the super alpha male? How do you act like that on camera after what you did? And the correlation between the super alpha male and somebody who cheated and betrayed the people he claims to love most in this world. He's gonna have to figure that out. And in my opinion, it involves us getting to know the man behind the mask even more. If he wants to come back into gaming entertainment, he's gonna have to find a way to do it where he opens up, where he reinvents himself, And maybe it can include a piece of the doc, but I think it's going to have to include a lot of different things. And to come back to what I've been saying this whole time, I'm rooting for him, and I think he can do it. We saw these last 18 months or so how supremely talented the guy is in terms of, production value, in terms of the character, in terms of the comedy, in terms of just the persona that he created and the world he created that we all bought into, that we all loved. He showed how supremely talented he is. He's got to use those talents now to come up with something new. He's got to reinvent himself. And I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for him. I think I do believe that, deep inside, he's a good guy. And I think he made one of the worst mistakes you can unfortunately make. I keep his wife and his kid in my thoughts and in my hopes. I hope the best for them. I hope the best for that whole family. I hope the best for his fan base. All you guys out there, I want to encourage you, if you're watching this video, to see the world not as black and white, but see it as gray. And to understand that he went a little more black here, but he's a human being. And he's capable of coming back more white on the other side of it. This doesn't have to be something that defines his life. And it doesn't have to be something that defines his career as the Doc or his where he goes moving forward. So we'll be rooting for him. I'm rooting for you, Doc. Now, again, I'll say my caveat. If we learn more that this was a case of harassment or assault or I will say, if this was an ongoing thing for months or years, that changes things. Those things change things, and then I might be rooting for him a little bit less. But if this is an isolated mistake for somebody who fame or whatever else got to his head, and he screwed up and he knows it and he's ready to grow, then I'll be rooting for him, and I hope the best for him. I hope the best for his family. I hope the best for the Slick Daddy Club. I hope they can come back. They can all bounce back from this stronger than ever. So with that, that's all I got to say. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, I'm hoping, I'm believing in myself that there's going to be a lot more to come moving forward. Again, more topics where gaming meets life, where we can talk about real issues that prop up in our hobby that we're all passionate about. So if that interests you, hit the like, hit the subscribe. I never thought I would say that, but hit those things. I appreciate y'all. Be good. Be well.